I think we're ready. Abby, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Patrick, would you confirm that we're on live here?
You are confirmed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, welcome to our Park Board meeting for Tuesday, December 1st. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cappers,
Here.
Mr. Emmerich,
Here.
Mrs. Westfall.
Here.
Disseminated to us prior to this meeting were the minutes for our November 3rd meeting. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They stand approved. Good afternoon, Jeremy. Do you have anything
Hello.
to add to your report, sir?
Nothing to add to the report. I do want to thank our park staff. Fall time is extremely busy for us, as you know, around here. They've been busy with the tree placement downtown and all the holiday decorating and so forth, plus all the fall cleanup, and all of them have done an excellent job. We had some staff come in Friday to assist with the activities downtown for the tree lighting. And just want to publicly commend them and thank them for the job that they're doing, and just a really successful and busy fall for us. But they've all done a really nice job. Just want to thank them.
Good.
That's all I have.
I did notice a couple of dead trees up on the levee. When in your calendar do you take those out?
Yeah, so we're just now starting that. In fact, this week we really ramp up now that all the Christmas decorating is behind us. So we ramp up now this week, starting with our removals, and that'll continue all the way through the winter. So you'll see those coming out. We've got those marked. We've got several in Minky Park and Haywood, just all through the park system, and street trees. We do those as well along the street. So this is the time of year we start that.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for our park superintendent? Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. You're muted. There you
Good
go.
afternoon.
Do you have anything to add to your very short report?
I don't have anything else to add unless there's questions related to it.
Travis Tritt is still tentatively scheduled, or are you doing advertising for that?
It's tentatively scheduled. We're working with the promoter and management on whether it may need to be rescheduled again for the third time. We're not really sure at this point, but the way things are looking is that it'll potentially need to be bumped back. We anticipate that may potentially also be the case with Urban Meyer as well.
Okay. Well, good luck on that. Those are two big draws if we can get them in. So, any
Yeah,
questions?
I think our next event, next non-ice events look to be scheduled for February. First event would be a cheerleading event. They just held, the company that will be promoting that just held one in Cincinnati a couple weekends ago. So they've had experience holding one in Ohio with obviously modified attendance numbers and just overall logistics. So we anticipate that will probably happen. We have a meeting with them later this week. And we're working currently with the Western Ohio home builders on how they may be able to hold a modified event as well.
Good. Thank you. Any questions or comments to Mr. Seiler?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Seiler. Mr. Brewer,
Thank you.
anything to add to your report, sir?
Nothing to add to it, but also would just like to kind of publicly acknowledge just the job that our entire staff here at Miami Shores has done this year. With Ryan Leach and as our superintendent and his crew, the job that they've done with the golf course this year, I think has been really, really good. And then just to all of our, part-time staff here in the pro shop, as well as over in the shoreline, just the job that everybody's done this year and being flexible and being willing to work throughout the entire pandemic. And obviously, just the changes and the more activity that we saw this year just for our staff and keeping up with that. And again, just doing the job that they've done. So just want to publicly acknowledge that, but nothing to add to the specific report.
I'm impressed with the numbers that are coming in, regardless of the pandemic.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's certainly contributed to it, but you know, I think there's been a lot of factors that have gone into it, and obviously November continued to be a strong month for us. We had some good weather, and November always is kind of is what it is, but we were able to take advantage of some good weather, and again with the course being still in good shape, it's people want to get outside and do things. So.
Well, you don't have any players out there today, do you?
No, but we'll see what happens in the next few days and try to get back to it if it warms up. So.
Okay, well, thank you. Any questions of Mr. Boer?
The only question I had was something was brought to our attention. I think Patrick's aware of it. A question was brought up about the equipment that sits out around the golf course or near the golf course. I'm not a golfer, so I'm just curious as to the plans for storage for the equipment.
Are we speaking to maintenance equipment, I would assume?
Yes. Apparently,
Okay.
there's-
Yeah, I mean,
We
go ahead.
received an email from one of the county commissioners, unrelated to Mrs. Westfall, that had requested that sooner or later we consider trying to find something to hide some of the equipment out there at the maintenance. I guess that's behind 10.
Right.
Yeah, and in the past, I think when Ken Green was here, we had talked about adding some kind of canopy or something, to add to the existing maintenance structure. I think it's on the 5-year plan. Honestly, the timing wasn't real good for the question that came from him. We did just have the budget meeting, committee meeting last night. But it is something that ultimately we do want to address one way or the other, just to hide it a little better.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, anything sitting out is simply because there's no room to store it inside. And so it is something that is on the 5-year CIP. But I don't know that it's been labeled a high priority item at this point.
Does that address your question?
yes, I believe so. Is the house on just north of Duke Park, those barns, are those available?
Jeremy may be able to answer that.
You mean the ones that do the Hewells Camp Farm?
Yes.
Well, yes, but I don't know that they would be practical for the golf course operations, since that maintenance is
Right.
really the stuff that you're using every morning during the season.
Right,
Yeah,
I'm talking about winter storage. I guess maybe they're fine to sit out all winter. You tell me.
Yeah, I mean,
Obviously,
the stuff that's sitting out is not hurt by being out. Yeah, and transport back and forth would certainly be an issue if we were going to keep it off site. So I think it's more about addressing some permanent way of storing it, at our facility.
Okay.
I think it was more an aesthetics.
Yeah,
issue.
I would imagine that would make sense.
Okay.
Other questions of Mr. Boer? Okay, thank you. I've got no planning commission report that affects the park system. Old business, we did receive a copy of the council's committee report concerning the no smoking ban. Everybody's received that, I would imagine, has they had the opportunity to digest that. So please have the record show that we have received that. New business, review and consideration of approval of golf fees for 2021. Kyler, do you want to go ahead and approach that?
Yeah, so included in your packet would be sort of what I've put together as the 2021 golf fees for obviously memberships, past memberships, and daily green fees. Included 2020 as a comparison point, and then there's just a short page there where I've just kind of outlined what those actual changes are. And then I went ahead and included just a little kind of an Excel spreadsheet to maybe make it a little bit easier to look at, or if you wanted to look at everything all on the
Sure.
same page.
And
So
I
try to
noticed you
make it-
compared these golf rates and what you're suggesting to other golf courses in the area, and you believe that you can go ahead and market Miami Shores and be right in the midst of things?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at those courses that I included, which I would label as our closest competition, Echo, both just from a proximity standpoint as well as a course quality standpoint, which would be Echo Hills, Castle Hills, and Vandalia, Homestead over there in Tip City, and then I think I included as far out as Turtle Creek as a similar type facility. Yeah, I mean, if you go through those, we're really not. I mean, we're right in that ballpark with all of them. I would say we're even either right in the middle or even possibly, on the lower end in some cases. But everybody structures theirs a little bit differently, so it's hard to make an absolute direct comparison. But I would say where there is a direct comparison to be made, it's within $1 or $2 one way or the other.
Okay.
As far as daily green fees, and even with memberships, there's not a membership where we're charging more. It's either the same or slightly less. So.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Brewer on this issue?
We had, Kyler, remember at one point a Miami Shores, and I forget what the name of it is. We had that group of golfers and things like that were involved that would kind of review and provide recommendations. I mean, I know we haven't had that actively going on here, or maybe I just haven't participated in it. I feel bad about that. But I mean, is that something you run by when you do this, or is this, I know we kind of do this on a yearly basis, but is that something that you've kind of run by that group, or we've kind of disbanded that group?
This year we haven't really met with the pandemic. It's been kind of, usually that's a group that meets in person, and scheduling wise, don't really have the resources to conduct virtual meetings. And this year in particular, it's been hard to find time, to be quite honest. But I mean, that's something that, no, we haven't disbanded. It's a matter of kind of, having usually we've used the golf course as the meeting space. And so with that sort of not being available to be able to meet in person this year, that was just not something that we did. But that would be at least usually a board that we would get some recommendation from. Yeah.
Good question. Any other questions? Does the board want to take any action on the 2021 golf rates?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the proposed 2021 Miami Shores golf fees.
And I'll second that.
Motion is second. Any further discussion?
Thank you.
Abby, please call the roll.
Mr. Cappers,
Yes?
Mr. Emmerich,
Yes.
Mrs. Westfall.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, next matter is the election of officers for 2021, taking effect at our January meeting. What do you guys want to do?
I mean, I'll make a motion. Susan, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I can make a motion to keep our existing roles for 2021. I'm more than happy with that, unless you're interested in a different title, I guess.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I don't care if it rotates. I don't care if it stays the same. It doesn't matter to me at this point.
Yeah.
I'm okay. So,
And I can make a motion to maintain our current, I guess, titles for 2021. Is that the appropriate terms there?
yeah, just name them Cappers for president.
Cappers for president, I guess myself for vice president, and Susan for secretary.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Cappers,
Yes?
Mr. Emmerich,
Yes.
Mrs. Westfall.
Yes.
Does the board have any other matters that it wants to discuss? Mr. Titterington, did you have anything that you wanted to have come before the board?
Just to let you know, as I just mentioned a little while ago, we did have our Finance Committee meeting last night on the 2021 budget recommendations. That will be voted on next Monday night. There really shouldn't be any surprises. I do appreciate Ken, Jeremy, and Kyler, their efforts to maintain as much of a status quo budget as possible, given the uncertainty of next year. We do not cut staff. We did increase some staff mark support out at the golf course between maintenance and the shoreline in the hopes that the momentum continues in the next season and we continue to be extremely busy at the shoreline. The one project that we've really got to start thinking about, and I wanted to be able to fund it, but we just really can't get there quite yet, is updating and adding to the signage in the parks. We have 6 ground signs that are getting dated. I know you guys have had this discussion before, but just as importantly, there are many parks that don't have any identification at all. Jeremy and I had talked about the possibility of phasing it in over time, but that might be more than a little awkward looking if we have new updated signage with say the new logo or brand or whatever, and then we still have some of the older stuff, so it probably makes more sense to do it as a comprehensive project. So we may start dabbling in some different designs for you to look at during 2021, and hopefully we can get it off the ground in 22.
That'd be fine.
Awesome.
Do you have anything else, Mr. Titterington?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I can't quite tell who else is sitting in the room.
Sue and Abby.
Okay. Sue and Abby, do you have anything to come before the Park Commission?
Not at all.
Okay. I would move at this point to go into executive session to consider the compensation of public employees. Ask Kyler to stay in the session and Jeremy in the waiting room, if you would. And then Patrick, let me know when we're all situated.